All right, here we go with a pod full of saints on. I'm all over the place here, and I'm not where I should be. That's where I should be. 26th one of a season, 21st of January 2026. It's a cold Wednesday evening, following on from a cold Tuesday evening and a cold Wednesday day, and wet. And Lee in short sleeves, he's a real man. Evening, Lee, how we doing?
Wallet. Hello, boys. How are we doing?
And less of a real man is somebody with a cold. Jake, good evening.
Thank you. It was just another normal week at St Albans City, wasn't it, that we can get to dissect now?
2 games, 13 goals, 3 points. All in crowds. Everything went almost right. Right, we
Uh,
start with last Saturday. What a fantastic game. A 5-3 defeat at home to Whitehawk, 3-0 down, back to 3-all, then lost 5-3. First time Whitehawk have scored 5 away from home since November 2019 when they won
Brilliant.
5-3
Brilliant.
at Three Bridges after being 3-1 down. Right, as for the Saints, Gary McCann went for the same City lineup for the third consecutive league game. Kept clean sheets in the previous two. That sort of went out the window a little bit.
Didn't it?
But it's a funny old game. First half, from our point of view, wasn't brilliant. We took a long time to get into it. Our marking for the first 2 goals, we just switched off and let them go. And they were happy to take advantage. Could be said, very well worked goals. If we scored them at the other end, we'd have been well pleased with them. The third goal shouldn't have stood, came from a corner. The ball was at least a foot outside the arc, so they shouldn't have got the ball in there from which they won the penalty. That's by the by. But it changed, didn't it? We've got to go back a minute on before half time. Jasper scored, scrambled it in. We got 3 goals very similar to each other in the build up. The next two were excellent. And so we had over half an hour to go to win that game. And everybody thought, that's it. Whitehawk dead and buried. We're going to go on and win it. No, 2 more goals and some controversy on the way. Anyway, from side of pitch, as I say, fantastic game to watch. By far the most enjoyable match of the season. That we lost matters not a jot. It was a great afternoon. Who wants to pick up on that?
Go on, Lee.
Well, where'd you start with it? Where'd you start? Do you start with the ineptitude of our defending in the first half? Do you praise the Whitehawk sort of resurgence? Do you condemn the quality of the refereeing? Where do we begin with this, Dave? No, no, because you are the official's friend, obviously.
Well, a referee had a good game, but there were some contentious decisions which could have gone either way. Anyway, sorry, Lee, I shouldn't butt in there.
No, you carry on, mate. You carry on. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, what I would say about it is that the comeback from us in the second half papered over quite a lot of cracks from our display in the first half. I know you're good with names, Dave. They're number 9. We were treating him as though he was like, Thierry Henry in the first half. Our defenders were getting nowhere near him. The amount of time he had, especially, I thought Bostwick struggled against him in the first half. He really did struggle. Their number 9 was instrumental in 3 of their goals. And the gaps in between our midfield and our defences was absolutely criminal. I was chatting to someone at half time and he said, I've seen nothing like this. Nothing like this. Just the shape, the amount of spaces that they had in terms of the runners. We weren't picking up those runners. We weren't getting tackles in. We just weren't strong enough. And I think when you give yourself a 3-goal mountain to climb, don't care how good you are, you're going to struggle to do it. The comeback, whilst it was spirited, Dave, and yes, there were contentious issues to discuss, in which we will do that. I think we were absolutely poor first half, and we got what we deserved, really, if I'm honest.
God, I hope we pull more often. I look forward to more games like this. It's funny, a few people I spoke to on Tuesday, they all said they would take a game like that over a dour 1-0 win any time. Before you come in, Jake, Harry Ludovica, that's near enough, isn't it? The number 9 you're on about. I believe he's on loan to them from Enfield, something like that. 9 games for Whitehawk, 2 goals. Last season, 9 games for Maidstone, no goals. He's clearly not a goal machine. Look at his record. He's been with loads of clubs and hasn't settled anywhere. So that will tell you something about him. We met him on a day when he was particularly good. The reason I looked into him, because somebody suggested, are we still looking for a forward? Should we be looking at him? Well, on the evidence of that game, yes. But looking at his overall record, you wonder. Right, all yours, Shake.
Yeah, I think conceding 5 goals against that Whitehawk team, I think it is criminal, isn't it? Really, whatever happens this season, then it's not the first time, is it? I mean, Burgess Hill, etc. There's been so many games this season where we've conceded silly goals against not great opposition at all, and I think that come the end of the season is going to be our downfall potentially. But yeah, that first half, it was the crowd at half time, even with that late goal back, was shell shocked. I don't think any of us expected that. Whitehawks, they played well, they counter-attacked well, and we defensively just weren't up to it. We made changes at half time. They helped to an extent, but like Lee said, it papered over the cracks, got it back to 3-3. And then what I would say is we didn't pepper the goal at 3-3, did we? We had plenty of the ball, but we weren't forcing their keeper into great saves. There's a few scrambles in the goal mouth, a few blocks in and around the area, but it wasn't sort of all like everything's thrown at this team. And then to lose it like that late on, I think that game might be the perfect summary of being a St Albans City supporter. Hope, 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 problems, and they let you down at the end.
Some people are never happy. You mentioned the changes at half time, Jake. If memory serves, Michael Bostwick went off and Jack James went off. They were sacrificed for the way we were defending at first start. Gary might put it differently. But it's interesting. You remember after the Burko game, he blamed the younger players for switching off. Well, it was you watch the highlights back of those first 2 goals. It was the most senior of senior players switching off and standing close to their men, but just watching the ball as they drifted away. And we paid the price for it. So it's not just the kids. It's a case of lack of concentration in that team at times, which is very strange. But the substitution players that came on, Kieran Petrie down the left, Sam Smart down the right. Petrie at times terrorised them. In the end, Stephen Wright did a good job on trying to keep him quiet, but Petrie. It really did fire us that second half, and with Sery picking up as well, and Maffa, we were quite potent. It's interesting what you say about not many chances. You had 2 goalkeepers there. Their age, about 20. They're on loan from Football League clubs, so they're trying to impress because they want to get on with their pro club. And they let in 8 goals. That's going to do them no good at all. But that aside, you're right. There weren't many saves to be had, funny enough, but it was still great entertainment, no 2 ways about it. But yeah, so you had Petrie going on fire down the left-hand side, but there was nothing on the right-hand side. We had nothing over there at all. So it was just a case of them tightening up, shutting down our left side a bit, and that made life a bit more comfortable for them. I felt Gary was wrong to stick Alex Wall on for the last 2 minutes. You can understand why he's done it, put a big bloke on there, an experienced forward, but he's not a goal machine, and it meant we changed the way we played, which, if anything, helped them. And a few people actually said it was the wrong thing to do, wrong game for it. And it didn't do us any good, as it turned out. We didn't get a goal from it. We didn't get a greater threat from it. So maybe those who say it, they are correct. Right, shall we look at some controversial incidents?
Oh, no.
Yes.
Well, the main one is the handball by...
Which one?
Well, yes, it's 3. You're right, it's 3. 2 of which you really cannot give us handball. The players knew nothing about it. You could have given them, and would have been just as contentious from the other side. It could have gone either way. Like the offside for the 5th goal. He wasn't offside. It would have been easier for the linesman to put the flag up because it was so tight, but it would have been the wrong decision. Again, but the handball when the guy went down, who was it? Will Dupre. From the side, he's gone down. Of course, he's got to save himself. He doesn't put his arms out. He's going to smack his chest and his face on the ground and do a lot of damage. So he puts his arms out. Behind the goal, it looks from that camera as though he's trying to grab the ball. If I had let it roll a bit on the slow motion, you would have seen the ball does change direction, so he clearly touches it. From the side, it looks as though he has gone down to protect himself, which you can fully understand. So the referee can then say his hands were in a natural position for what was going on. But had the penalty been given, again, they couldn't have argued too strongly.
Was it a natural position when he batted it from his left hand onto his right hand, or which way
Didn't,
you trying
didn't touch his right hand.
No,
Didn't touch his right. No.
Have a look.
Right, about in 10 minutes. Just go and have a look.
Yeah.
Because you can see quite a lot from standing at the side, 200 yards away.
But you can, if you slow down the club's footage from behind the goal, if you film it at home and slow it down.
It's only got to hit one hand, Dave, for it to be a handball, mate.
Yeah, but he didn't do baseball with it, did he? That's
not.
The referee could have given it, but he could also understand why he didn't give it.
Dave, it was a handball, mate.
Fair enough. He did touch his hand.
I mean, immediate reaction behind the goal was that is a blatant handball, and my opinion hasn't changed. I think, interestingly, didn't they talk about in post match that the referee has apologised after the game to the club? Interestingly, they showed him the video. I didn't know that was allowed. But I thought it was a penalty. It should have been given, but again, it would have just been papering over the cracks. Again, like that defeat. It was poor on Saturday. Doesn't make that decision right. It should have been given, in my opinion. And I thought they got away with one there. But I agree. On the other two handball shouts, I didn't really think they were them. But then one of those got given last night, which I'm sure we'll come on to. So,
yeah, we haven't seen the highlights from that yet. I don't know if they're up yet. Unlikely. We don't tend to do it for about 48 hours nowadays for some reason. Then we have to watch a slow motion of a goal celebration.
But I do think you're right though, Dave, in so much that bringing on Alex Small when all of the penetration was coming in, playing balls in behind defenders, like Banton, Petrie, Jasper, Leo, they were all doing it, and they were all getting some traction down the left hand side. One thing I did like about it, okay, the cracks came in the first half, absolutely. I think the way we got back into the game was good, and we kept going. We didn't panic. I thought the goal before half-time really did help that platform, because then it wasn't such an uphill task in the second half. I thought the way we went about it was good. We still tried to play football in the right areas. We were still sort of really pressuring, and they didn't have any answer for it. And that's why you say, Dave, we just thought it was only going to be a matter of time, simply because the chances, we had corner after corner. Sery had an overhead kick that, if he got a sweeter connection, could have gone in the back of the net. Jasper had a good chance at the back post. The chances were there, but they were of our own creating. It wasn't as though the fact that it was just long balls into the box. We kept trying to play football, which I guess was a benefit. It's just a shame we gave ourselves such a mountain to climb in the first place to get there.
In the non-league paper, Jake, you gave that game 5 stars out of 5, quite rightly. But when you're saying tonight it's not good, presumably you enjoyed the entertainment and the openness of the game. It was just our defending, particularly first half, that causes you to say it wasn't good.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a good game for a neutral, a lot of goals, but I want this St Albans City team to win, and I want to get promoted. And at the end of Saturday, we were languishing 6 points above the bottom 4 after that defeat, and it was like, oh god, this isn't good. And
good game though, mate.
It was good. It was a good game, but the St Albans City side at the start of the season, everyone told us the ambition was to go up this season, and if you're losing 5-3 against this Whitehawk team, and I think it's made even worse by we've had some terrible games against Whitehawk, especially at Clarence Park in the last 10 or so years, some nightmare games. And to see that replicate itself again on Saturday, it's just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is happening again. So, entertaining game, lots of goals, but I don't enjoy seeing us concede 5, especially in the manner of the goals.
Only a game. Right, 13th game between the two clubs. The attendance was below 1,000, but at 946, it's actually the largest in games between the two clubs. So there's some consolation to be had there. And they made a fair bit of noise as well. Right, anything else you want to chuck in from the game?
No.
There's a bit of a to-do at the final whistle, I believe, down by the tunnel with supporters and stewards. I wasn't over there. Some people said stewards overreacted to what was going on, and that just stirred it up. I don't know. Someone else said, well, the club does nothing but promote booze, so they shouldn't complain when you get something untoward. You may have been stirred by that. It may not have been. Who knows? So I don't know if you two picked up anything of it.
No, didn't see anything.
Can't condone drinking at the football. It's an absolute scandalous concept. Move on.
Right, we're moving on to almost after the Lord Mayor's show. Last night's game at Clarence Park against #United. First competitive game between the two clubs. 4-1 win for the Saints. Sounds convincing. Overall, it was. First half was low key. We were comfortable, in charge. St Bantam penalty for handball. You two probably had a better view than me. I couldn't see the other side because there's just so many bodies in the way. And then we got a second goal. I could tell if I was watching. Oh, yeah, Lewis Page, first goal for the club, drilled it in about 12 yards. Nice finish. And what had been comfortable, suddenly in the second half was different. The first 20 minutes, they were excellent. They were playing at speed. They were passing it well. Their movement was excellent. And they were cool. They were finding gaps again, just like some other team did at the weekend. And you think, well, this one's going to get away from us. But it fizzled out, fortunately. And two superb goals. Zane Banton, was it deflected? And fourth goal, Leo Sery, great finish.
Yeah, I mean, remember when we used to play quite big clubs and ex-football league clubs, and we were in the conference, and we were playing Torquay a couple of years ago, and now we're playing #United. I mean, this is how far we have fallen. Yeah, I think first half we mostly controlled it. Handball probably maybe was a handball, but it was very similar to the other ones on Saturday, and you'd have to watch it back because I don't really know how far out his arm was. I say Lewis Page, second one, good finish. Helped that the keeper dived the wrong way. That was always quite useful. And then yeah, after half time, everyone comes down from the clubhouse. We're all very happy, and we turn around and there's murmuring in the distance. It's like, what's happened there? Have they actually scored? Then it's like no one had celebrated.
Yeah.
And I say they did cause some trouble, and I think a better team potentially would have punished us in terms of the openings they got and the areas they got into. But luckily, we turned it up again. Zane Banton was back to his old last night. I thought he was really good. Third goal wasn't deflected. It was just the keeper sort of just let it go through his legs for some reason, as you do. And the fourth was a brilliant finish from Leo Sery. So it was a real topsy-turvy evening. And I say, Dave, again, those 20 minutes of, oh, goodness, they're not going to surely make this 2-2, are they? I think definitely exposes those still concerns at the back. But we came out with a win. 4-1 looks good. And that's the kind of victory that we should be getting against these teams that we've made hard work of so many times this season.
I actually should take credit for the penalty, Jake. One wishes to be modest, but I had a chat with the referee before the game, trying to find out where he's come from, just for the records. And I said, you actually owe us one, Alfie, because when we had him earlier in the season, we lost. So, of course, to even it up, he gave us that penalty. So, there you go.
But because you're scared you're going to be burying him afterwards, Dave. So it's fair to him, mate.
I didn't have Dave being involved in match fixing on my blue card for this season, but there we go.
Right, your chance to dissect last night, Lee.
Well, I wasn't actually at the game last night, so I was fueled by Jacob's very sketchy updates and your even more sketchier video content, Dave. But
good.
But the Sery goal looks absolute peach. But yeah, I mean, I think you did react to it there. I think you can see it by Gary's post match after Saturday's game. He wanted a response. He keeps telling us that there is a good squad there. And I think on the whole, I think there is. To be losing to Whitehawk at home is one thing. To lose at home to #, as Jake alluded to, is just a whole new low. And we've had quite a few this season already. So my question to you fellas is this... So I spoke about this on the radio after Saturday's game, about the idea of consistency. And it's the hope that kills you, right? Consistency is just that thing that we need to maintain a level. Jake, it is a results business. And I absolutely get what Dave, you are very much in the corner of entertainment. But ultimately, this has got to lead somewhere. So does last night's performance, is that the true St Albans City? Or is it just a case of it was just a very bad # team?
Well, I hope it wasn't the true us. It was boring. And it was wet and cold. Go on, Jake. You were there to convince me it wasn't boring then.
No, I don't think it was necessarily boring, but it wasn't a great # side, was it? And that's the thing. We actually did put them to the sword. They weren't great. The City players were much improved in their performances. On Tuesday, Jamal Fifield came in and looked a bit more solid at the back. Zane Banton, as I said, I think he really starred in midfield. He had obviously the goals, but also he had some really nice play in the middle, which was great. And, Jasper and Leo continued their form. I know Jasper didn't score last night, but again, Leo, both of them linking up really well. So definitely positives to be taken. And I think it was just good to have a response, because when you do concede 5 on a Saturday, you think, oh, we need to quickly erase this and deal with it. And we did. And to come out a 4-1 win, and just things just look a lot brighter heading into a tricky fixture on Saturday.
I looked it up the other day. Is it the first time in the Isthmian League since 1946 we scored 5 in a home league game, then conceded 5?
Oh.
It's been a little while anyway.
It's a great stat.
Yeah, it might not be true. I haven't got it written down.
Dave, I don't mean to alarm you, mate. I think something's on fire behind you.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I hope so, 'cause my hands are cold.
Okay.
Right. What's his name? Jake mentioned there. Jamal Fifield came in. The first time in his starting appearance in the league since the 23rd of September. He's been out that long without injury, which was against Lewis, of course, that we'll come on to in a minute. The other one was Petri coming on for only the second time, coming in, only the second time he started a league game. Now, we mentioned on Saturday what an impact he had on the game when he came on. Yesterday, we used him nothing like we did on Saturday. So we didn't get the best out of him. Or maybe we thought, okay, whoever it was, hashtag, might have seen what went on Saturday, so we'll go a slightly different way. And no, I don't think that's the truth, but it makes you wonder. So we didn't get the best out of him last night, and eventually he was withdrawn on 75. So anyway, there you go. I've got the handball down here. I think you said it was very similar to Saturday's one.
Yeah.
Zane's penalties. They're not good penalties, but they're all going in.
Well,
they're not right in the corner, are they? But they're all going in.
But he's got a habit of giving keepers the eye, hasn't he? And he just sends them the wrong way, and it works. So I think another thing to note from yesterday, it felt like there was an injury break every 5 minutes as well. So the game seemed to drag on for about 2.5 hours, which was fun. But yeah, we've got to take the positives, haven't we? After that defeat on Saturday, take the positives. Plenty of goals. Saints fans, not a great crowd on a Tuesday night against hashtag. That's no surprise. They actually went home happy, didn't they?
You mentioned players going down. I think it was Matthew Aldridge when we got the penalty, just laying down on the edge of a 6-yard box for ages, having serious treatment, of course. It was a serious injury. But it was just nonsense. Is this what the game's come to? And he was laughing as he was going off towards the touchline. Fortunately, we had the biggest laugh when Zane sucked the penalty away. And you just hate to see players doing this all the time. If you want to play the game, play the game. If you don't want to play it, go.
I mean, while he was doing that, the keeper appeared to be wasting time by checking the penalty spot was actually central and sort of taking some measurements. So there you go.
Jack Giddins, 33, another 10 years, and he can join us. Right. One of you mentioned a crowd there. What was it? 541. Quite a dip from Saturday after a great game. And the weather wasn't bad at kickoff. It was okay, a little bit drafty, nothing much. But it did rain a bit during that second half. And you just wonder how many would have come if it had been like that at, say, 7 o'clock.
I think we talked about, when we were playing Cray Valley, etc. There's a lot of people I spoke to yesterday in the gaze before asking, who are you playing on Tuesday night? Hashtag United. There's no way I'm going to that game. And I think it's very much the same. Saints fans will come out for the big games, but this is a consequence of getting relegated last season. You're playing
also, I think a lot of it as well is, boys, that they want to see a winning side, right?
Yeah.
So the casual fans, they'll look, oh, who have they got? Hashtag United. Not heard of them. How did they get on Saturday? Oh, we lost at home 5-3. That they are small factors, but they are meaningful factors for people who aren't, Luddites like me and Jake, who go week in and week out. But the fact of the matter is, these things do matter to the casual fans.
We've just had 4 consecutive home games. league games, 5 all competitions, but league games, we won 3 of them. So 9 points from those 4 games, which over a season will certainly get you promoted, probably get you a title. But we're playing catch up, aren't we, from earlier in the season? It's funny, after the game Saturday, somebody sent a message saying 6 points above relegation zone. One of you mentioned it earlier as well. After last night's game, somebody sent a message, only 9 points in the playoffs. People are fickle. Which is true. 9 points with, 17, 18 games to go. 17, I think it is. That is doable. You're relying on a lot of other clubs slipping up and us getting on a good run and not letting in 5 in a home game. And it looks like the final playoff place could be the lowest points tally for, I think it's 7 or 8 years in the Isthmian League Premier Division. So that works in our favour, gives us a hope. But we are relying on a lot of other factors, really, aren't we?
Yeah. Go on, Lee.
Yeah, we are. But I think again, we are playing catch up, but it makes you even more annoyed. Like we've got nothing from the games like Potter's Bar and Whitehawk and, the performances against Wingate. And there's so many drop points and so many different occasions there where, we've put ourselves under immense pressure and not got anything out of them. I think it's a lot of ifs and buts. And I think the word consistency and us just coming in some sort of form now, because we're going to play some good teams coming up over the next month or so. Excuse me. You just look at those things that have gone, those points that have been dropped against the teams that we have faced, and you're left pulling your hair out because it didn't need to be as bad as this.
It's interesting. Look at the next 2 games, Lewis away and Billericay Town away. Lewis very much mid-table, Billericay slightly above it, still not up where everybody expected them to be. They've got rid of one manager this season. I don't know what happened to him. So Danny Scopes is in the hot seat there now. But we've got to look at those, a minimum of 4 points, because we can't have win-loss, can we? That won't get us up there.
You are right, I think, Dave. That has got to be the aim, hasn't it? Just because of the gap. Is it realistic? That's a good question. I think Billericay on Tuesday night is a really, really tricky tie. Saturday against Lewis, still difficult, more winnable. And there will be a lot of St Albans fans there on Saturday as well, being Lewis away. 4 points. If you offered me now 4 points, I think I'd bite your hand off for that. So let's see.
In many ways, the 3 points would have to come from Billericay because we don't want them getting further, to close that gap on them.
But surely you don't give a shit about the points. You're just a man who wants to see a good game of football, right?
Yeah. I'm doing it from your point of view, Lee, to try and keep it interesting.
Well, to be honest with you, mate, I think if we get anything from Billericay, we've had to play extremely well, if I'm honest. I think you've got to be looking at Lewis for getting the 3 points simply because Billericay away, okay, their position doesn't exactly smack of title contenders, but you know that their squad is still going to be full of quality. And although Gary's going to want to go there and turn them over, it's going to be easier said than done. And I think we are so inconsistent. And although we have had some better results away from home, we're going to need to sort of show that class as well going into that game. But first things first, we've got to overcome a Lewis side, which are no mugs at home.
With Billericay, though, they've lost 2 of their last 4 home league games against sides. We talk about sides we're dropping points to. They were against sides they shouldn't be dropping points to for their budget and everything in particular. So we're not the only ones doing it. They are there to be beaten. But it is very much one we can do on Tuesday. But you mentioned Lewis before then. Sorry, Jake, you obviously got something interesting to say there. Go on.
Oh, not interesting at all. I would say that you hinted at there, Gary McCann will have the players fired up for Tuesday night, won't he? That's the thing. He will be determined to go there, get the points. We know he didn't leave there maybe in the best of situations with the ownership at Billericay, it's fair to say.
No, really?
From that, from that BBC interview he did back in September. So he'll be driven to do that. It's just whether the players respond. As a supporter, it's just the view of a Billericay Town away on a Tuesday night. It just doesn't fill you with hope and dreams, does it?
Right, Lewis on Saturday then. 1 win in 3 for them. They've won their last 2 home games, both 1-0. Former Saint Charlie Walker is captain at the moment. He's got 5 goals to his credit this season, and at 35, he is of course qualified to come back to Clarence Park. It's one of our favourite trips of the season. Lewis, it's a great town, a wonderful town. The football ground full of character. Sadly, the wooden stand on the top. Where are you going? On the top of the hill opposite Mountfield Road. That has long since gone. We haven't been there for 16 years, or just over 15, November 2010. So we'll see what other changes have happened since we were there. That was their only win in the last 10 meetings between the two clubs when a certain Adam Everett got dispatched.
Oh.
Good bloke. Right. 14 quid to get in for adults. I hope you two will be spending your 14 quid and not going off shopping or something. Who wants to go first for predictions?
Go on, Jacob.
3-2 Saints.
Ooh.
Good man. Defence tightening up, only letting in 2. Lee?
I'm going to go 2 or draw.
Right. Where'd you a clean sheet? 2-0 win.
Oh my God.
Blimey.
Well, you got Jamal's back now. Goto came on for a little bit of the end last night, so he's starting to get some options. We're getting no news at all on James Sweets for a few weeks, or Harrison Smith. No updates on them, what's happening. But Gary is getting his squad. It is gradually growing. Right, Tuesday, over to Essex End, Bluntsport Road, or New Lodge, whatever you want to call it, or whatever sponsor's name it's got at the moment. Gary will want to win. Billericay will want to win. So we go for... We lost 1-0 in a cup, didn't we, when Gary was manager over there? So we go for a 2-1 defeat. 2-1 defeat.
Oh. Oh. I'm going to go 2-2.
Oh, it's galore.
What did you say, Dave?
2-1 defeat. We're going to get a goal.
3-1 defeat, I think.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah.
Such negativity.
Jake is looking absurdly optimistic at 2-2 then.
Hey.
Right. People have sent in a mass of questions. 2, I think. 2 players you spoke to on Saturday, actually, Lee. One's asking about Dylan Berry. Why is he at the club? We got Dudar until, what's his name? Gabriel
Dudar?
Gabriel Dudar. Yeah, great player.
I'll tell you until, mid-February, I think it is. He's not done too bad, but I should think probably the person most happy on Saturday was Dylan to watch us letting in 5. He's got to get international clearance because he's been playing abroad up until recently, so he's not ready to come straight back into the side anyway. So it's interesting why he's there. He's been training for quite a few weeks, and Tom Bender was spotted, and he's been here with us a few weeks. You spoke to both of them, Lee.
I did, yeah. So got into the game. Spoke to Tom first. He's training with the club. He had a really bad knee injury. He was with Billericay when that happened, obviously, and then he wanted to sort of do his rehabilitation. He's basically been camped out at St George's Park, working with the specialists there. What they've done, they've actually used bone and cartilage from a deceased person to help with his healing. So I did ask whether that was someone that Tom had sort of tackled previously, but obviously it wasn't. It was someone else, unrelated entirely. Apparently they don't do that sort of technique on athletes. It's normally for your everyday sort of Joe. So his rehabilitation continues. Now that obviously Gary is at City and not at Billericay, the club have invited him in, and he's more than happy to do that. Obviously he knows the setup here. He's just working his way back slowly but surely. There's no real commitment anywhere other than the fact that St George's Park, and then he trains on a match day at City. He seems quite jovial. He's leaving his options open, which is interesting. Obviously, Billericay wanted to go back there. Gary's more than happy to have him here, just for the experience and to be around the change rooms and sort of get that leadership quality back into the side as well. But Dylan, he came over and said hello, enjoys the podcast. his story is quite interesting and very different in so much that his time in Cyprus ended. He came over. He is distraught at where City currently are. He's finding it really difficult to sort of, look at the plight of the club, considering where they were, where they could have been, where they perhaps should be in his eyes, in our eyes. So he wants to help get the club back up the division. And he wants to help that. He's been training, he's been speaking to Gary, speaking to Harry, speaking to Lawrence. And there's an option there, maybe. Obviously, we've signed Duda for another month. So that maybe put his way of thinking back a bit. He's happy to help. He wants to help. And I think your bugbear, Dave, about loanees coming in and then all of a sudden, when they do go, leaves a massive chasm in the squad. Dylan is happy to commit. I think he wants to play for the club. So maybe that's an option further down the line. But obviously, it is an option, and it's a good option. Maybe the club can do something to get it over the line later on down in the month.
Well, he wants to be playing football. He doesn't want to be sitting on the bench. And Gary doesn't put substitute goalkeepers on the bench anyway, despite being a goalkeeper himself. And so if Dylan can't play, I don't see him signing. But may change with the loan ending of Gab. Or Watford may want to say, well, can you keep playing him for the rest of the season? It's not doing any good either, just sitting on the bench somewhere, which is a fair point. Trouble with Dylan, he's had 2 bits of notification from the FA. One says his international clearance will take a month, 1 or 30 days. One will say it'll take a week. And he's also been told he needs to be signed for a club to go for the international clearance. You can't just do it off your own bat, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. He's now back in his country, so why can't he become a free agent again? So he needs to sign for a club if that is correct. So obviously, one he supports his local club. That would be the ideal one, and puts him ready to play. Should Gab go? But then it's a limit on the number of clubs he can play for during the seasons, because he's been abroad apparently. That changes it, which I don't understand either. It's absolute nonsense. Seems like different laws, different rules for different situations, which makes no sense. Anyway, so we're no clearer to know whether those 2 are going to come or not. But it's interesting to see them round the squad. Anything to add on it, Jake?
No, it's just nice to see. I mean, we literally walked in the ground and Tom Bender were there, and I was like, what year is it? What's happened? Like, he was just there in full City training gear. I was like, what the heck? And yeah, it's great to see Dylan chatting away with fans, and just, being there. And it's great to see. And don't think it's easy to underestimate that Dylan was a real fan's favourite by the end of that playoff campaign. Obviously, it didn't end well, but Saints fans really took to him, and he put in some great displays. Since then, he's had his moments that, not been brilliant, probably even by his own admittance, but it's just great to see him around. And Tom, it's nice to see old friends, isn't it? So we'll see what happens with both. I think the Ortelli situation is, like Lee says, there is every risk he suddenly gets recalled, isn't there? Because, he might not have had a great game on Saturday, but he has impressed some, and Watford will be keeping an eye on him, especially with Mariappa, of course, in the squad, keeping a very close eye on him, he's basically manages him at Watford. So be interested to see, and I don't think it's a bad thing to have Dylan around for now, if it's possible and it works for all parties, because you just don't know what's going to happen between now and come the end of the season.
Mariappa didn't play last night, wasn't in the squad. Had other commitments apparently, which presumably means Vicarage Road. He had something to do there. Of course, we haven't mentioned one injury we got last night. Riley Scott, when bandage around his head in the first half. After that, he looked a bit like Springsteen in '85. And then he went off eventually. I think he took another knock on it, so we don't know the state of his injury, but hopefully it'll be clear in time for Saturday.
Yes.
But, there we go. Right. Well, we've done the predictions. I just got one thing. We had the funeral last Thursday of John Harvey, was kitman and various other bits at St Albans. Really lovely bloke. Quite a few connections at his funeral over at Bedmond Lane, Hemel Hempstead. I went with former Secretary Steve Truelock. He took a clipboard with him just in case you had to pay to get in. And a few playing connections there as well. John Colfer was there, along with some decent footballers, Dean Williams and Alan Campbell. So the club was well represented, but also the fire service. They turned up on force, and also a fire engine. And it was a great send-off for John, because a good bloke.
Oh, well said,
I've got a little bit to add as well, actually. On Saturday, I mentioned to the club, went up into the clubhouse after the game. Obviously, atmosphere wasn't exactly rocking, given the result and the subsequent performance. But I think the fact of the matter is the club are now looking at ways of engaging with the supporters. And I was up there till about 7:30. Really good chat with the co-owner. Really good chat with Tony Gautier, and obviously the new CEO. I got introduced to him. Had a chat for about an hour. It was really interesting, really insightful, very driven team there. And they all come over and they were sort of buying fans drinks, and players came up. And you know, when you can tell when players just sort of going through the motions. Oh, we got to go into the clubhouse. Right, it's 1 minute past 6. Now we can go. Some of them actually did sort of stay and engage with the fans, which was really good to see. And long may that continue, because I think this is the sort of connection we spoke about on previous pods, where the club have maybe overlooked some of the importance and the nucleus of what makes a non-league club thrive. Is that connection between the club itself and the fans. So Saturday was a good example of that, and I think the club should be commended.
Isn't that funny? We mentioned it, and within a couple of weeks, it comes into action.
Look at us.
Yeah. Well, sorry, but it probably is something in that.
Dave, but yeah.
Something in that. And also, of course, we're already picking a team with Jasper playing at number 9. We got Gary to do that. Is there anything else we should do this week, Jake, to get the club keep going forward?
No, not if it's one of your ideas.
I'll tell you what, he come up because he was saying goodbye to everyone. He goes, hello, Lee. I said, oh, Christ, here we go. He goes, I've heard a lot about you. Some of it good. Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Not from us.
Good. Good vibes.
Oh, dear. Well,
are we looking for a supporters coach for the next 2 games, Jake?
There's a supporters coach running to both. So there you go.
Johnny, in between most of his inane shouting last night, which you could do without, he said something about still some spaces. People want to go.
Yeah, there will be a couple of spaces left, so hopefully we should sell out. But yeah, there is engineering works for anyone travelling down to Lewis. So have a look at trains, because there's a slightly different route that you can take. So if that's the way you want to travel. Dave, anything else you want to, or anyone else you want to attack, or praise, or?
No,
it's the
No.
Yeah.
Jacob, give me the information, buddy.
Yeah, Podful of Saints on Twitter.
It's 6:15. I want to put dinner on.
Oh, come on, you sandwiches. Podful of Saints on Twitter/X. Email in the description below. Thank you all for your views and listens. We really appreciate it, even if the football's a bit topsy-turvy at the minute. And we will speak to you all again next week. So thank you all very much, and come on, you Saints. Bye-bye.